Since a hybrid vehicle is essentially half gas and half electric, I guess it makes sense that the Honda CR-V hybrid is making up half of CR-V sales. Look, I didn't say I was good at math, but the CR-V hybrid does account for about 50% of CR-V sales and was the best-selling hybrid vehicle in the US in 2023. This latest generation of the CR-V was launched for the 2023 model year, which means it actually went on sale in 2022. And for 2025, well, it's basically the same. And there's nothing to complain about there. CR-V comes standard with a 190 horsepower turbocharged 4-cylinder engine starting at $31,450. But today we are focusing on the CR-V Sport Hybrid line, which accounts for all of the sport models. That's because it has a more potent 204 horsepower powertrain comprised of a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, 2 electric motors, and a continuously variable transmission. Prices start at $36,000 for a front-wheel drive model that gets 40 miles per gallon combined, and $37,500 for an all-wheel drive model that's rated 37 miles per gallon combined. This is a top-of-the-line sport touring hybrid that comes standard with all-wheel drive for $42,450 and is fully loaded. You won't find any options, just some accessories on the order sheet. The interior is the same. It's got this kind of retro grate trim across the dashboard and a touchscreen infotainment system that has a small screen, but it's easy to use and has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And along with these 3 knobs for the climate control below it, there's a gloriously tactile volume knob. There's nothing particularly special about it, but it's very nice. All the controls are laid out well, and there's tons of space, not just in front, but in the second row, where a 6'1" passenger could fit behind a 6'1" driver with ease. The cargo area is also pretty enormous, but don't go looking for a spare tire under the floor, because that's where the hybrid battery is. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. There are no unusual features in here, but there's also nothing missing. It's got the basics nailed down nicely. That's not to say this is without bells and whistles. All CR-Vs come standard with the Honda Sensing package of electronic driver aids. That includes features like automatic emergency braking, road departure mitigation, and lane centering adaptive cruise control. In fact, let's call it lane centering and adaptive cruise control, because unlike some vehicles that require to use the adaptive cruise control to get the lane centering, you can use them independently in this. And they work very well, as long as the road you're on has well-marked lanes, unlike this one. Oh, and if you're wondering why American Cars and Racing is testing a Honda CR-V, that's because while some of them are made in Canada, many of them are made in the United States, including this one, which hails from Greenburgh, Indiana. As far as the ride and handling are concerned, the powertrain is smoother than many of this type. It's not all clunky as it juggles the internal combustion and electric motor drive. It's powerful enough, although sport may be an ambitious name, at least these days when we've got ridiculously powered crossovers. It does have sporty responses, however. The steering, perfect. The suspension, even better. This is equally great, soaking up bumpy surfaces and controlling the body around curves. Far better than most vehicles in this segment. And some of the top vehicles it goes up against are the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, the Kia Sportage Hybrid, Hyundai Tucson Hybrid, and the Ford Escape Hybrid. Personally, I think it's the best of the bunch, even if a couple of the other ones get a little bit better fuel economy. It's roomier and more refined than the RAV4. While the Sportage and Tucson may have slightly snazzier interiors, they're just as spacious as this. CR-V is just a little nicer to drive. Now this has snow, econ, normal, and sport modes, which along with adjusting the power delivery, traction, and stability control, also change how the car sounds. As with many modern vehicles, this has some synthetic engine noise blended in with the real noise that's fed into the cabin. Now I'm gonna take my lavalier mic off so you hear a little bit more background noise. Listen to this. That's actually pretty convincing. But check this out, switch it to sport mode, and now it sounds like this. Thinks it's an actual sports car, maybe an S2000. I didn't know this had VTEC, which in this case means virtual tech. Yeah, I haven't driven one of these since they first came out a couple of years ago, and as often the case is with Honda, since then I've been thinking, was it really as good as I remember it being? Well, I think a couple of years from now, I will be saying the same thing about this one.